Hello again out there. This is Dragonesque4 coming at you, and blessed be to all my little magical beings out there. Today, I'm going to teach you how to make a wand. And it's going to vary a little bit from the wand, this wand, but it's good. They're really easy to make. These aren't like carved wood or wood turning or anything like that. This is real simple. Younger practitioners can make these as well as older practitioners, and I'll show you how to do it. Okay, now I'll tell you what your list of ingredients are. First, you'll need a piece of poster board, and you'll need to cut it to a size of about 12 to 14 inches. You'll need scissors, obviously, to cut the poster board. You'll need some painter's tape. You'll need whatever crystals, herbs, or spices, or whatever that you want to put into your wand. And I got some crystals, and I've got some feathers and some spices here. I've got a knot and some beans. I'm going to be making an air wand today. You can make whatever element you want, and you can put whatever kind of core material you want in there too. You know, put in crystals or feathers or whatever. You'll need either some kind of marker pen, or if you a slightly more advanced method, which I'll talk you through. You'll need some paints, like spray paints, and some of the like a tester's paint or something like that, and a paintbrush. Okay, and you'll another thing you might possibly want to use, although this is optional, is like a pencil or a dowel rod, and I'll tell you what you need to do here. Okay, now once you've cut your poster board, and you can use any color poster board you want, it doesn't really matter. You want to take it from the corner, right here, you see. I'm going to tilt this camera down a little bit so you can see what I'm doing here. And then to start, you want to start rolling it towards its center at an angle. So you take the pencil, and if you don't want to use a pencil, you can just freehand it. But for a starter, for the practitioners that aren't used to the method yet, it's a good idea to wrap it around a pencil or a dowel rod to start it. Okay, now you want to just come in like this and tightly wrap this like this. Once you get it started, you can pull your pencil out. Pencil fell on the floor. Oh yes, and one more thing I forgot to mention. You'll need a glue gun for the more advanced method, which was kind of this, the one that I showed you. Alright, so you want to keep rolling this in toward the center. And you want it to be fairly tight into this. And it'll start forming like an elongated angled tube of sorts. Okay. So you see how it looks now. You got the thinner end here, and it goes down to the thick end, and you got to hold this temporarily. If you want to put a rubber band on it or something while you're doing that, until you get it sealed, you know, that's fine, so it doesn't get away from you. Okay, so put it on one end so it won't unravel. All right, you want to kind of roll it in your hand till it, on this end, so it comes down to more of a point. And you can actually, if you want to, you can kind of squish the end down a little bit, and then kind of pinch it like that. So you see what I did? I squished it down and I pinched it, so that way it kind of seals up the end a little better. So you'll get something that looks like this. It'll squish down and point it out like that, okay? And it'll look like this. Now, next, you'll want to take your scissors and cut off this little twirly flap on the end. Unless you want to leave it on, it's up to you. But I would recommend cutting it off because just for the fact it makes putting in your ingredients a little bit easier. Okay, so you'll have this cut off on the end like that. Next, taking your painter's tape, it's also called masking tape, you're going to want to, starting at the tip, like I put the tip, put it on here, and you just want to wrap your wand with the tape. And this will help it to hold in place, okay? So you just want to wrap it around your wand until you get to the end. If you want to go more than once around, that's up to you, but it's not entirely necessary. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You can allow for a little bit of flaws. It doesn't really have to be perfect unless you're trying to get it absolutely perfect, but it's up to you. I don't think it needs to be 100% perfect, but and see, once you get the masking tape on there, then it won't come apart. Alright, now, almost to the end here. Okay, now, you'll have something that looks like this, okay, and you'll have the open end here. Now, for the open end, you're going to take whatever crystals you feel like you want to do, and however you want to fill it, with it, whatever you want to put in there. You could put crystals, or you could put feathers, or if you want to write a sigil out onto a piece of paper, put that in there, however you want to do it. But in this case, with this wand that I previously made, what I did is I filled it with stuff that I found at the Ren Fair that I go to. So it's got a really weird crystal, like a plastic crystal in there. There's a black feather. There's a really weird looking rock. And I put a gypsy coin that I found on the end of it. On this dream, and I also found this claw piece here, so I put that there. For this dream wand, for this air wand, I should say, I'm going to put 3 beans in there. And I know it kind of sounds weird that beans are associated with air, but they are, because they kind of are in the dream realm. I'm going to put a silver cord with 3 little knots on it. I'm going to put some mint. Mint is good for air working and for dreams also. So I'm going to put some mint into this. Okay. And now I'm going to put a little bit of some pumpkin pie spice. Even though pumpkin pie spice is kind of an earth spice, sort of, it's also good for air as well. And I'm going to put a purple feather in there. May have to put it this way. Stuff it in there. Come on. Get down in there. Okay, and I'm going to put some sage, because sage is wisdom, and wisdom is associated with air. Alright, now, so now what you want to do, you'll have your wand that is going to have your fillings in it, so to speak. Now, at this point, if you want to make it so you can take the materials out and change out what's in your wand, all you would do is just kind of pinch this shut like that, and then you would put like a piece of tape over the end if you want to keep it temporary. Now, if you want to make a permanent thing like this, I'm going to just go ahead and make this one permanent. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to fold, kind of push fold. See how I'm pushing it down and in? I'm going to push fold the pieces of the edges of the poster board down into this piece. So it'll make this like little convex or concave, whatever the word is, thing that looks like a little volcano hole. Okay, and what we're going to do with that is we're going to seal it with this hot melt glue. And for the slightly younger kids, you may want to have your responsible adult do this for you. But if you're old enough to work with it and you can work with it safely, because this could burn you, just be careful. What we're going to do, we're going to seal this in like this. Hot melt glue is alright, like this. I'm going to take a clear glass crystal. I'm going to put that in the end of this, like so. And I'm going to glue this in place. And if you want to use other glue, like maybe some other glue might work for you, but I find that the hot melt glue works really good. Alright, there we go. And be careful that you don't touch this, because this stuff gets really hot and it could burn you, so just be careful. And it's kind of stringing out here. I'm trying not to touch it, but it's like stringing, and I'm trying to get it into place here. You may want to push it down with just like a pencil or something, so you're not actually touching it, because I don't want you all getting burned here. All right, now you'll have something that looks like this, okay? And you have your seal on there. Again, if you want to leave the end off and just make it temporary so you can change it out, it's up to you. Now, I'm going to put in a couple glass crystals on the outside here. And I'm going to make sure that this end is sealed, so I'm going to put a drop of glue on this end so the herbs don't come out at the end of here. And I'm going to put some glass beads on this. And if you want to put something that's elongated, you know, that you may not be able to just stick on, you may have to cut it open a little bit with either a knife or a scissors. Just be careful. Like with this one, the piece goes down into the center here, so I had to cut a slit for it. But I don't think it's necessary on this one. Okay, so we're going to put, like, right here, I'm going to put a gemstone here. And when you're doing this, you want to kind of get it slightly over the edge here, so you're not like going to have your stones falling off. You want to just bring it up over the edge of the stone, and then maybe go around the center with the glue around the whole thing, so it'll keep it in place. See how I just did that? Just went around like that. And I'm going to put one here. And again, I'm going to go around the piece here just to make sure it's properly sealed. Okay, a little bit more on this edge. Alright, and I'm going to put one more right there. Now, if you want to leave this step out, you can. You know, you don't have to put these crystals on here unless you want to. Again, this is however you feel like doing this, but this is how to do the basics. I just felt like putting this on for an air wand. I thought it would look really nice. Okay. Now you'll have something that'll look like this, okay? So you have your crystals on there. Now, next, to get the effect like I have on this wand, where it's got the three-dimensional effect, all you're going to do, take your hot melt gun, and if you want to leave this step out and just decorate your wand with some markers or whatever, you don't have to use the hot melt, but you won't get that nice depth to it. So what you want to do with your hot melt gun, and you just want to do random, unless you want to actually try to make a specific pattern, like if you wanted to do a swirl or spell out a name or whatever, you could do that too by just kind of gluing it into the pattern. But for this example here, we're just going to make a random pattern of glue going over it. You know, it doesn't have to be just a little bit of stringiness to it, so it just kind of blop it in place. You don't have to do a lot. Just want to randomly put the glue on there in the different sections, and I'm doing here, just plop it, you know, kind of just randomly put the glue pieces on there. All right, now you gotta let this dry for a couple seconds here so I can tell you what you have to do with it. All right, and the stuff dries pretty fast. It only takes a couple minutes. So you see how okay, so now you'll see how you got the three-dimensional patterns on there now from the glue. Okay, so next step is you can do this with a marker pen if you prefer, you know, if you don't want to use spray paints, but it's easiest to use spray paints. Now what you want to do, so you don't get the spray on your crystals that you're going to, you just want to spray the wand. You would cover this up with the tape, so you would put your tape up over this, and put it over the crystal on the end if you're putting one in the end, just temporarily. So you know, you just take your tape, and you can use a different tape if you want. You could use like frog tape or whatever, you know, and you just tape it over temporarily so it won't get the paint on the crystal, and you'll pull that off after it's through painting it. Then you would take your base coat, in this case it would be silver, and then you do about 3 coats, you know, lay this out on a paper in a ventilated area, and you don't want to like spray anything on your furniture or whatever, so I recommend doing this outside. And you just do a spray coat over your whole wand, and don't spray on the, again, cover up whatever you don't want with the color. And then from there, you would take your either marker pen or a crayon or however you want to color it, or in this case it's paint, and I use like an acrylic tester paint. And you would take your paint, and you would take your paintbrush, and you don't want to go, when you put your paintbrush into your paint, get a nice thing and pull off the extra, you know, kind of dip it off so it's not going to be dripping. And then what you would do is, so you're not going to get it on this part here, because you want your base coat to show through. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your paintbrush, and a nice, like a chisel paintbrush is good. Like, you see how this is kind of an angled paintbrush. And so you just want to take it, and you just want to go at you don't want to go straight down. You just want to go from like a sideways, like this. So you're going from the flat of the brush. And then you would just paint over the glue drops. Okay, so you would just paint over the entire glue drops let that dry, and you will get something like this. And then again, you can use whatever color you want. I mean, if you want to use, like, instead of silver for the base, you could use whatever color you want, or you could leave it like the base color like it is, of your poster color, and you could use whatever color that you wanted on this. I was going to do this in blue, but I don't have blue, so I'm going to have to wait to color this. But for this Renaissance Fair wand that I made, you know, because I find stuff all the time at the Renaissance Fair, I wanted it to look earth tones. So you see how it has the three-dimensional look, and that's just from painting on the paint drops, okay? And then once you do that and your paint is dry, thoroughly dried, you're going to want to take some clear coat. And again, if you're too young for this, either have an adult do this for you, or skip it all entirely, but it'll help preserve your wand and it'll help preserve the paint on it. You want a clear coat, like a clear coat spray, and basically that's a preservative, okay? And you'll just go over your whole wand, and you give it about 3 coats each side. Same with the paint, about 3 coats each side. You get a nice deep nice color. The only thing with the clear coat, even though it is clear, when you use it, like, for example, with this, my wand that I did, see, now it starts out like this color, very silvery color, but when you coat it, it darkens down a little bit, so it looks almost gray. And depending upon the paint, it may or may not darken it a slight bit, but that is something you should be aware of. It may change the color just a little bit. Okay, and then after you clear coat everything, you would pull off your protective tape off your crystals, and that would be your finished wand. Now, if you wanted to anoint it with power oil or some other oil or whatever, you could do that. And because of the fact that this is like when you roll the poster board, you know, to get the wand shape, it actually gives a pretty sturdiness. You know, even though it's paper, it's like it's however many layers going into that because of the rolling process. So, and that's how you make them. It's a real simple process, you know, and younger kids can make these. And these are also, not only are they easy to make, I mean, this whole wand to make, if you have, like, you know, buttons or jewels or just rocks or whatever lying around that you don't have to buy them, you know, this whole wand, for the poster board, only costs 33 cents. If you're not going to invest in paint, and you know, have maybe markers or something that are lying around the house that you can paint it with, you know, if you're investing in paint, you're maybe talking for like a couple of cans of paint, you know, like 1 can, and you only need a little bit, so you don't need a big can. Maybe $2 or so for a small can of paint. The glaze would maybe, the clear glaze is maybe like another $2 or so for a small can. Tester paints are like 97 cents for a little jar. Paintbrush is like 59 cents if you buy an individual paintbrush. Roll of masking tape is like 75 to 95 cents, and you only use a little bit, so you can make more than one. So, you know, a wand would only cost you maybe like a couple bucks to make at most if you're going to use the paints, and you can make it however you want. And another thing about these wands, if you don't put like the crystals and stuff on them and just made the basic wand with just the paper, you could use it as what's known as a burner wand. So you could use your magic, and if you wanted to put your wand into your fire or whatever to increase the energy of the fire, so it would create your spells with, you could do that too. So they're also known as burner wands. But that's how you make a basic wizard witch wand for yourself. And you could also, if you want to get really technical, you could actually put an LED light in there with a battery pack and a switch, and then you could have a light up wand. But this here is just a basic one. And anyways, I hope that you enjoy the tutorial, and I hope you make yourself a wand. if you feel like posting a picture, feel free to let me know. And blessed be to all my little witchlings and wizards and magical beings out there.